colored women, marching for those who weren't able to march for themselves, for slave women of old, washerwomen, laborers, and our unborn daughters. We marched with dignity to represent them all. With dignity, my child. We were Delta Sigma Theta sorority. Now, let me tell you what all that fuss was about. It all started at Howard University, my alma mater. Alma mater. I always thought that was funny. You know how it translates from Latin, dear mother? I mean, Howard wasn't very motherly to us in my time. It was actually quite manly. One thing is true. If old Howard ever became more motherly or matriarchal, it was because of young women like us. We came on campus and fell in love. Howard was the vanguard, the finest Negro university in America. Probably one of the finest, Negro or otherwise. We were young, ambitious women ready to take full participation in the college life. One of the first things to catch our eyes, after the football team, was Alpha Kappa Alpha, the first Negro sorority on campus, or anywhere for that matter. They were proud and beautiful, and so were we, and so we joined. And up until that time, it was the only show in town. And we were sorority women at a time when most of the Negro women in this country made a living washing white folks' clothes. Howard was special and essential for our people. There were 22 of us. There were all types, personalities, and interests. We were represented in every single campus club. Now, if you give me a minute, I can just about remember everyone's name. There were the musician Olive, there was Marguerite and Winona, and then Pauline Oberdorfer. I used to give her a hard time about that name. Oberdorfer. She was roommates with Naomi Sewell. We had two Ethels that I remember. One had a car, and the other one did not. There was Ethel Cuff from New Jersey, and then there was Ethel Carr. And of course, her car was in her last name. That used to crack me up. Oh, let's see. There was Jimmy Bug, Liza, she was a sweetheart, Wordy, and the tallest of the bunch, Florence Toms. She had a thing very early on for collecting elephants. That really took off now, didn't it? Let's see, there was Mamie Reddy. Oh, she was so sweet, such a powerhouse, and president of the literary club. And then you had Osceola. She was always graceful and was really beautiful, too. She was an actress. Speaking of beautiful, there was Vashti Turley. Now, this girl was sharp every day, dressed to the nines all the time, but she was always down to earth and on the ball. Yeah, I still remember Miss Vash and those hats to this day. There were the Texas girls, Frederica Chase, Jessie Dent, and our sorority president, Myra Hemmings. Now, she was a blustery one. I mean, she'd just take over everything. Then we had some of the funniest women I'd ever met. They were Bertha Pitts and Zeffie Chisholm. Now, there was also Madrie Penn, a real firecracker. Now, they belonged to the Dust Club. That meant they had no boyfriends, so they were collecting dust. That was cute. But now, some of us were really in love, like Edna Brown. She was smart as a whip, the class valedictorian and president. Her beau was Frank Coleman. He was also popular on campus. We were close friends with his fraternity, Omega Psi Phi. Edith dated another Omega, Edgar Love. But Frank and Edna were engaged to be married, like most of us eventually did. I think out of 22 of us, Only one or two never married. In most cases, our single days ended with our college days. Forward-looking and thinking had a direct impact on our sorority. We didn't fit AKA anymore. We wanted to create a new black sorority, one that answered the call for service. And to us, I mean all of us, that gave us purpose. We wanted to be true race women and to be part of something at Howard that would prepare us to go into the world as leaders. The ways in which we wanted to make a difference, we could do better by dissolving AKA altogether. We came to a point that we wanted to serve more than socialize. It was Madri Penn, oh, she was fired up about the changes, who went first to our president, Myra Hemmings, to discuss change in the name, motto, colors, and symbols. Myra shared the news with our good friends, the Omegas. They had just won a long battle with the administration to form their fraternity. They were very supportive. Madri consulted a Greek professor on the possible name and meanings. Myra, our president, then commissioned Madri to draft a constitution. That sister Madri was on it. She was so inspirational of the whole Delta movement.
Things are changing, and it's going to take a lot more than tea parties to fix it.
Exactly, Myra, and I know we can make a better organization. Everything must change. The colors, the name, everything.
It is just beyond me as to how she could be so joggled by our suggestion we change.
Myra, your way could joggle the mighty General Oliver O. Howard himself. No, seriously, Myra. The way you stood at that lectern today would have made all of Texas proud.
Oh, correction, Bertie. All of Negro Texas proud.
Well, I hope the dear Reverend Brown is not too alarmed by us all barging into his living room again.
Madri, after a while, we'll have to take up residence with the Browns.
We met and met and met again. I remember those days so clearly. We were on the move.
Oh, Miss Osceola McCarthy, my stars, my stars. When your performances on stage stopped my heart, might I humbly request your signature?
Bertie, please, not another word about the theater. These rehearsals are torturous.
Enough, Bertha Biggs. This is not a social hour. Second that ever. Ladies, shall we?
We would go regularly to Edna Brown's home at 6th and Fairmont, Northwest. Osceola brought newspaper articles about women's suffrage.
Can you imagine how exciting it would be?
Others brought books on progress. We were sharing information about all the work that was being done.
That is wonderful. What would we have to do?
Edna Brown was a gracious hostess. It was a beautiful, spacious home, but we filled it up quickly.
Ladies, the Constitution.
The house was bustling with energy. It's almost as though we knew we were making history. We wanted our time together to matter, to make a difference in the world, and our defining moment was now.
We must first thank the good Reverend Sterling Brown and his daughter, our sister, Miss Edna Brown, for their most generous use of their home. Edna, do you have something to share before we begin?
Thank you kindly, Miss Hemmings. I hope you all have enjoyed the tea and hors d'oeuvres my sister Elsie prepared. As is custom, we are welcome to stay for as long as we like.
Thank you, Edna. We have several reports to consider this evening, but before we delve too deeply into the business at hand, I would like to read a quotation. This quotation comes from Walled In by Henry David Thoreau. Things do not change. We change. I will let you ponder the meaning of that and allow it to become the background of our thoughts this evening. This is a time of great change for our sisterhood. Our broadening views of the world lead us to reach out into the community. Because we wish to serve more than socialize and meet the challenges of the times in which we live, we elect to change our organization. Yes. This evolution, my sisters, will bring about an entirely new presentation. We elect to change our colors, our letters, our offices, our credo, and our constitution. Our first report comes from a sister who sparks the fire of change that burns in our hearts this evening. She is full of energy, tireless in her devotion, and resolute in the mandate for a new organization. She is dear to Howard, but dearer to us. On the matter of the Constitution, I call forward Miss Madrie Penn.
Thank you. I must first share that I am equally spirited to be part of the class of 1914. It is always a privilege and a challenge to follow our beloved president. Therefore, I will refrain from my desire to lecture and redirect my energies to the new Constitution. I will read each proposed action, and we will enter into a brief discussion around each item. At the conclusion, I will turn the floor back over to our president for a vote. We will begin with the sorority flower. The recommendation is the African violet. As you know, the colors of the African violet are purple and gold. Edna, could you pass it around for everyone to see?
I'm just glad that Frank Coleman didn't decide to give Etna ginger root.
Now, Zeppi, these are official proceedings. But to your credit, the colors purple and gold do also pay homage to our dear friends, the Three Musketeers of Omega Sci-Fi. They have been wonderfully encouraging and generous in spirit.
It is an exquisite choice. And you should know that the African violet is said to be the only flower that has touched every continent in the world.
Thank you, Ethel. Now on to a discussion of the official sorority colors. They are bold and beautiful and chosen carefully for what they represent. Birdie is wearing a skirt in the color we have proposed. Could you stand, Birdie?
Wait just one moment, I have something to say. I believe in what we are doing. And the direction we are moving in is fine. And even though it's not the right thing for us now, just as I love each and every one of you in here, I love Nellie and those sisters out there. And this is tearing me apart.
Eliza, this is high time. What you express, we all feel. But just as you feel sympathetic, we also feel committed to progress. We must be true to ourselves and true to our times. We will always be sisterly, but we have come to a fork in the road, and we must take a different path to arrive at a different place in history.
Liza, do not forget that just as we are making a choice, so are they. This is not a time for indecision. This is Delta time, and that means it's time to work. So let's get on with it.
Birdie, I'm ready to get on with it. I know that it's time for change. This is not about loyalty to friendship. This is about loyalty to an idea. An idea greater than us all. Service.
And what on earth could be greater than that?
the morning.